Hi, everybody. This is Charlene O'Hanlon, Managing Editor at DevOps.com with DevOps TV, and we're here at DevOps Enterprise Summit 2018 in Las Vegas. With me today, we have some very, very smart people who are going to talk to me a little bit about DevOps and compliance. To my immediate left is James Wickett, and he is right next to him is Sam Guckenheimer, and then after him is Topo Paul. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today. Appreciate it. So I understand that you guys have written a love letter of sorts.
An epic love letter.
An epic love letter. Gosh, I'd love to get one of those one day. No, I'm kidding.
Become an auditor.
So tell me a little bit about how this came about, what the background is, and really what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, you guys had some color in here, but one of the big problems in our industry is that DevOps has really grown, but we didn't really bring audit along, and that's kind of the main thesis behind our love letter, that I would say.
Yeah, not only we didn't bring along audit, we actually fought with them. And this is kind of a realization that we cannot fight. That's where the love letter came from.
That's right.
Yeah, it took like 3 tries. So, there's this DevOps forum that is sort of a hackathon for that Gene puts together in Portland every year. And there were 3 years in a row where we tried to get how do we talk about audit and compliance in a DevOps friendly way. And the 3rd time we said, look, we really need to get the right mix of people. We need to have an auditor present. We need to have someone who understands the standards there. We need to have the right industry mix. So we built on stuff that Topo had done at Capital One with his colleague Jennifer Brady, who came out of audit. And we had the late Rob Stroud, who's unfortunately passed away since in an accident. But Rob had for years been one of the guys behind the standards in COVID. So he understood all of the appropriate language.
And Rob really put his stamp on helping us kind of form that together. And so, our thoughts are with his family and coworkers. But we really, it wouldn't be what it is today without.
Yeah, he really understood what it means to be in that space.
Yeah, that's right.
From our perspective, we always think about tools, technology, transformation, digital transformation, go faster.
Yeah.
But he kind of understood the backside of it, what it takes.
Yeah, we learned what a risk and compliance matrix is.
Right.
A risk and controls matrix.
That's right. Yeah, we were very schooled because because other folks come in from more like a traditional DevOps role, not really doing a lot of audit. And so we had a really good team. There was a really great mix of folks, very heterogeneous group of people. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So the what exactly is this Dear Auditor letter? Is it a call to action for companies, or what is the idea behind it?
Well, I think people should read it first.
Yeah.
It's at dearauditor.org. It's a public letter that we posted out there.
Oh, okay.
So I think that could be helpful. But in my mind, it is answering that first premise that like what Topo said, like auditors and DevOps kind of found themselves at odds. Things like separation of duties. That was a real big sticking point. It's like, hey, we want to push code for developers. Oh yeah, it still is. No, let's not pretend it's all solved. But part of the letter is like we need to bring audit inside of this. It's not just we're just going to run fast in cowboy mode for DevOps. This is something we're doing as a company. So
yeah, it's kind of. We tried internally within our company, and when we say auditor, we actually are talking about internal auditor. Now, there are big fours out there. I think the love letter is for the big fours, call to an action that please come and help us make your life easier, because we believe as technologies that their life will be easier. Now, unless that, the collaboration and discussion happens face-to-face, it's very hard to make that happen. So that's what the love letter is, kind of a olive branch.
That's a good point. It's an olive branch to auditors.
And it's also, here's how to do it. So the the cover letter is, of course, the attitudinal, cultural, let's hug each other.
And a little bit of apology from our end too. Right?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
We did sort of move without the auditors. That's just fact.
Right. And James was brilliant in framing that. And then it's backed up with the risk and controls matrix. So we translate stuff that we're used to doing in DevOps as engineering practices into the risk and controls language that auditors are supposed to worry about. So we say, okay, we acknowledge these risks, and here are the practices that we will apply in order to mitigate this risk. So rather than saying, oh, those concerns aren't legitimate, they don't apply anymore, we say, no, you're right. You shouldn't have unauthorized changes to production.
Right.
Here are the things we do to, in the engineering system, prevent unauthorized changes to production.
Yeah.
Okay. Here are the things we do to prevent unauthorized IP theft. Here are the things we do in order to prevent unapproved
Bad quality code in the production.
Right.
So, I mean, Jennifer and Rob did an awesome job, I think, in creating that framework. Let's talk about the risk. Let's acknowledge that risks actually exist. And then show me what you have in your quote-unquote DevOps pipeline to mitigate those risks.
Yeah, because I think as much as it's a letter for auditors, it's also for us to realize, like, this is the kind of language that auditors use. This is the kind of language that as we're building these programs and practices in place at companies, that we need to not ignore this. So we need to use this language, and it kind of gives us a little bit of a playbook to help with that as well. So it's a two-sided thing. It's
Well, it sounds like it's definitely been needed in the space. So, so are you hoping that companies then kind of take these actions and the playbook, if you will, and incorporate it into their own DevOps processes, or is there some sort of framework that they can use to kind of make that happen?
So first of all, before even using it, since none of these DevOps practices one size fits all, it's kind of a framework that we try to create that you take back to your company and try to implement in your way. There will be a lot of things that are common across enterprises, lines of businesses, or like financial versus retailer will be maybe different. But overall, I think the framework is reusable. And our goal is to actually understand from each of these implementations and influence the big four so that they now understand that this has value.
Yeah, and when you say big four, break it down for people that don't come from an audit background.
The Accentures of the world.
Ernst & Young and
PwC,
the people who are signing off on financials and compliance.
Right. We have this as an open source. It's Creative Commons license, so anybody can get to it and can use it or modify. But we're looking for feedback from the community too, as people implement it or experiment with it. We gladly accept pull requests. So
All right, great. So tell me again the web address.
Okay, yeah, it's dearauditor.org.
Okay.
And there's a GitHub repo associated with it, and that's the place where we're accepting any code commits or changes to it.
Interesting. All right, guys. Thanks for walking me through it. I really appreciate it. It's been a great talk.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot.